Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you today? I hope you're fine. Hey, we meet again. My name is Bilal Bani Alamin, but you can call me Mr. Bilal or you can call me Mr. B. So for today's material, we will talk about simple present tense. What is simple present tense? And when we use this one, and how can you make a sentence in simple present tense? Let me go on to the next slide because we're going to discuss about this in this meeting. Okay, simple present tense. Before we jump into the formula, we have to know when we use simple present. In Indonesia, we can call it as digunakan untuk menyatakan atau membicarakan hal-hal yang sedang terjadi secara terulang atau membicarakan hal-hal yang fakta sudah menjadi sesuatu yang diketahui umum. But I think you don't have to memorize all of these sentences. You just have to know these keywords. Okay? You just have to remember the keywords. What are them? The first one, it tells us about habit. When we do something over and over again, from Sunday to Monday, you never skip this. You call it a habit. Or the second condition, when you want to talk about a fact. What is a fact? A fact means when everybody knows it happens or when it like this, it is the general fact. Okay, so the function for the simple present to mention about habit and to mention about fact. Take a look at this example. I already provide you 3 examples for the first slide. Okay, so when we tell about the sun rises from the east, do you know our sun rises from the east? I think this one is correct because this is the example for a fact. Okay? Because we know that the sun always rises from the east. From the other part of this word also know that the sun rises from the east. Do you know which part of this world when the sun rises from the west? I think it cannot be happen because when the sun rises from the west, it means it's the doomsday. So this sentence is a fact. So you use simple present tense. Another example, I work at home. It also the example for simple present is the fact. Why? Because when you tell everybody that I work and that everybody know that you work and or maybe he trusts you that you work, it means it's a fact. Okay? I work at home. They know you work. They know you work now at home. It means a fact. And the last one, I also provide the simple present as the habit. I get up at 5 o'clock. Why we call it as a habit? Because we know that you always get up at 5 o'clock from Sunday till Saturday. You always get up at 5 o'clock. It means it's your habit. Okay? So I already provided 3 examples about the simple present in the basic example. Let me go to the other slide of this page. Okay, here are the formula for the simple present. Formula. We have 3 kinds of formula. The first one is positive one, negative one, and the last one interrogative one. We use the positive one for general statement, Okay. And if you want to deny something, you use -1. And if you want to ask a question, you use the interrogative one. Okay? How can you make a sentence general statement? You have to add subject and you have to add verb 1. But remember, when your subjects are singular, okay, singular, you use s or es after the verb 1. Okay, remember, when the subject are singular, you add s or es before the verb 1, after the verb 1. And the last one, you add the object. But remember, the object and this object and this subject for this sentence are conditional. Okay, conditional. You can add or omit this one. Okay, so the object, it is not important for this form. Okay, another explanation if you want to make a sentence for deny something, or we can call it a negative form. You add the subject, you add do or does based on the subject, and you add not, you add the verb 1 and the last one object. And the last formula is when you want to make a question or the interrogative one. You add do or you add does, you choose one based on the subject, and then you add the verb 1 and the last one object, and don't forget to add the question mark. Next, I already mentioned do and does, but when you use do and when you use does, okay, take a look at this explanation. You use do when your subject are I, you, they, we. When you find your subjects are ayunya Dewi, or we can call it all of this as plural, you use do. Okay, I repeat, when your subject ayu, dewi, or plural, you use do. And when you use does, when your subject she, he, it, or name of a person, you use does. Or you can call it as singular. Singular subject. Okay, I repeat, when you use does, when the subjects are she or he or it or name of a person, you use does. Next, here are the example. I already provide you example when you use this simple present tense. Okay, if you want to make a general statement or the positive form, you add you add the subject. Do you know the subject? Yes, correct. I is the subject, and you can use do or you can omit, and then you add the verb 1 because the subject is I. You don't have to add the s, and the last one you add object. And if you want to change this general form into the denying something or negative form, you add the subject and then you use do. Why you use do? Because the subject is I, and then you add not, and then the verb 1, and the last one you have the object. And you want to ask a question to your friends, you add do, and then you add the subject, in here I, and then you have to add the verb 1 and the last one the object, and don't forget to add the question mark. Here are the example when you use do. Another example, here are the example when you use does. If you want to make the general statement, you have to add the subject. Andre is the subject. You add the verb one, and remember, because the subject is name of a person, you have to add s. And then the last one is object. Andre plays domino. Andre is the subject. Plays is the verb one. Because subject is name of a person, you add s after the verb, and then you add the object. And if you want to change this form into negative form, you have to add subject. You use does. Why you use does? Because this verb because the subject is singular or name of a person, you use does, and then you use not, and you add the verb one. But remember, you don't have to add the s, because the s already become the does, and you add the object. The last one, if you want to ask a question, you add the does. Why you use does? Because the subject is name of a person, and you add the verb one, and you add the object. Don't forget to add the question mark. Next, in the simple present, we have the kinds of sentence. The first one, a verbal sentence. What is verbal sentence? When your sentence has a verb, it means a verbal sentence. The example, Fitra works in office. Which one is the verb? Work is the verb. Because this sentence has a verb, it means a verbal sentence. And again, the formula that we have discussed are the formula for a verbal sentence. Fitra works in office. Fitra is the subject. Work is the verb one. Office is the object. We want to change into the negative one. Add the subject. Add does. Why you use does? Because of the verb subject is name of a person. You add not. You add verb one, and you add the object. And if you want to change into the question, you add the does. Why you use does? Because the subject is name of a person. Okay, and you add the verb one, and you add the object. And it also happened to here. It is the example for verbal sentence. Why we call it as verbal? Because we have the verb. We have the verb. We have the verb. When the sentence contains a verb, it means a verbal sentence. Next, beside verbal sentence, we have nominal sentence. So, nominal sentence is the opposite of the verbal sentence. When your sentence don't have any verb, we call it as nominal sentence. So, when you don't have any verb, you use to be. Here are the to be for simple present: am, is, are. For example, I am smart. Here is the to be. I am not smart. When you have to change into the negative one, you just add the not. And if you want to change into question form or interrogative form, you have to add the to be in the front. And then you have subject and also object. It also happens when you have the other subject. Albert is the subject. Albert Einstein is the subject. You have to add to be. Why? Because in this sentence don't have any verb. Here are the example for nominal sentences. Is smart. Smart is the object. Any question? If you have any question, type your question in the comment below. Next, the last part. adverb of frequency. Actually, when we talk about simple present, when you find one of these words, it means it's simple present. So one of these words is the sign for simple present. Okay? Sign for simple present. We have always. We have every. We have often. We have normally. We have usually. We have sometimes. We have seldom. We have never. And the last one in here between seldom and never, we have rarely. Okay? So when you find one of these words on your sentence, that sentence must be a simple present. Okay? So I make these stairs from always to never because when always, it means you never skip. Never skip. And when you go to never, you never do. Okay, so always and never is the opposite. If you have any question, I think no. Let's we go. And now I want you to make an exercise. You have to make a sentence based on the picture. You use the picture to make a sentence in simple present. For example, I choose picture number 1. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I choose picture number 1. Example. I make a simple present sentence based on this picture. For example, I always drive a car to school. Okay, so you make this kind of sentence on your exercise book. Okay, and you have to make 10 of them. See the pictures and then make the sentence. Okay, here is your task because we already have task 1. Now we go on to the task 2. Okay, write 10 sentences of simple present. Write on your textbook, exercise book. Take a picture of your book. Send it on Edmodo. I think that's all for today's material. If you have any question, don't forget to type on the comment below. I think that's all. Bye.